Dear friends, welcome back. Today we will talk about the Dutch architectural structures of Hassan, which is famously known as a treasure house for Hoysala architecture of Karnataka. We will look at two unique buildings, their history, architecture, and we will also look at a few similar pressings to understand the best conservation practices to be implemented. Hassan is not only the district headquarters of Karnataka but also the administrative center for the Hoysalas and is famous for housing Hoysala architecture. According to some historical sources, Hassan was a part of the Mauryan Empire in 300 AD. It is believed that Emperor Ashoka's grandfather Chandragupta Maurya visited Shravanabelagola with Jain sage Bhadrabahu and his disciples, thus making the place a center of Jain worship for 17 centuries. Hassan is also famously known as the Uti of the poor, while the city houses the master control facility of the Indian Space Research Organization, which controls the Indian National Satellite System. Located approximately 35 kilometers from Hassan, in the scenic town of Shettihalli, stands the forsaken Shettihalli Rosary Church in its fallen glory. Though the church lay in its ruined state, where no bells ring, no prayers are sung, no stained glass decorate its windows, with sunlight filtering through its fallen roof and the waves splashing against its moss covered walls, the structure holds certain beauty that cannot let the viewer bat an eye. The church is an amazing masterpiece that is believed to be constructed in 1860 by French missionaries on the banks of Hemavati River. It is a textbook example of Gothic architecture with its pointed arches, ribbed walls, flying buttresses, and stained glasses imported from Belgium. Locally available brick and mortar with Egyptian gypsum, jaggery, and eggshells are used for its construction. The church was a prized stronghold of the community and was also locally called as Arogya Swami Church as it offers help for the needy regardless of their faith. With the construction of Gorur Hemavati Dam in 1960, the villages around the cathedral have flooded, resulting in the abandonment of the shrine to its ruin. The church is flooded with water and becomes inaccessible during peak monsoon, that is from June to October each year. Despite this repeated flooding annually, the church is structurally stable while only about one third of its structure above the water surface. Kudos to its construction technique and material superiority. However, over the years, it has acquired names like floating church and submerged church. During the remaining months, the church stands in all its glory on dry land, surrounded by a handful of dry grass and shrubs. Today, the gory structure attracts visitors not once but twice. Visited during the summers to enter the church premises and relive its history, and again during the rains to watch its haunting silhouette rise against the water horizon. A similar structure is nestled in the hearts of North Italy in the lost city of Curon. In the 1950s, the city drowned because of the construction of a hydroelectric dam on River Adige. Along with the homes of its residents, the village church and the bell tower also submerged. However, the partial portion of the bell tower is seen today and became the most tourist attraction of North Italy. One can get an up close view of the tower with a boat excursion, and an observation deck is created to view the vantage points of the tower along with the lake view walk trail. Our Shettihalli Rosary Church can be restored through structural conservation methods such as stone stabilization and foundation reinforcement to reinforce the stability of the building. Visitor experience can be enhanced by creating safe, well-marked pathways to access the church during the dry season and provide boat services during monsoon for offering a floating church experience. Viewing decks and elevated boardwalk nearer to the building can be planned, along with providing information about the church, Hemavati River, and the local community. In addition, the community can be involved by providing market spaces and conducting ceremonies and events during the monsoon, like floating candle ceremonies and organize concerts or heritage walks during the dry season. The next monument we will talk about is the famous Manjarabad Fort, located at just around 10 kilometers from Sakleshpur. It is a rare example of 17th century French military architecture that is still standing today. The fort was built in 1790s by then ruler of Mysore, Tipu Sultan, at a time when he was involved in the fight against the British Empire to save the sovereignty of Mysore kingdom. The Marathas and the Nizam of Hyderabad teamed up with the British against Tipu, while the French joined hands with him due to their enmity with the empire. Tipu Sultan and his father Hyder Ali have previously renovated various existing forts at Devanahalli, Nandi Hills, and Chitradurga with the help of the French engineers. The French influences can be seen in their splayed openings and earth wall constructions. Manjarabad Fort was built in 1792 when Tipu wanted to guard the approaches leading to Coorg and Mangalore. It is one of the few forts built by Tipu, unlike the remaining which were renovated. This fort is well known for its bastions to be eight-pointed star-shaped and is constructed in granite and rubble with trenches all around. The design is adopted from the Italian forts, which came up with the idea of triangular and polygonal shaped bastions to reduce the so called dead zones or blind spots in front of the bastions. Though the designer of Manjarabad Fort is unknown, historians believe that the fort design is inspired from the works of Sebastien Loup Prestre de Vauban, a celebrated French military architect who approved the designs of Palmanova in Italy, built in 1593, or the Citadel in Quebec, Canada, built in early 1700s. India houses two more star-shaped forts, one Fort William in Kolkata and Potagar Fort in Odisha, both built in the late 1700s. However, they are not accessible to the public and are extensively damaged, thus making Manjarabad Fort the only most complete Vaubanesque star-shaped fort in India that you can still see. To reach the fort, one must climb around 150 to 200 steps with an eye-catching view as one ascends the hilltop. After reaching the end of the steps, a long entwining pathway with high walls leads us to the entrance of the fort. There are short steps overgrown with shrubs that lead to the upper trenches on the entrance walls. These high walls have bastions on both sides with watch-out windows for housing the gods. The entrance arch is intricately carved with arches and floral ornamentation inspired from Indian and Mughal style of architecture. It is very interesting to note that the plan of the fort is engraved on the entrance arch soffit. There are two rooms on either side of the entrance archway with grooves made into the walls to hold lamps. The archway is decorated with floral motifs and Mughal arches. One can see the reinforcements added in the addition of the steel gate in the later stages. The arch leads to another foyer which is encompassed with high stone walls. There are two long rooms with curved ceilings on either side of the entrance foyer which are covered by mound and stilt. One can see heavy vegetation growth on the bill surface. One can see deep silos engraved into the walls which might be indicating the presence of gates in the past. This arch leads to another foyer which is like a passage with two rooms on either side. There are three arch openings on each side with niches on the wall for lamps. There is also another room engraved within. These rooms might be where soldiers made their abode to guard the fort. The passageway leads to the central arena which houses deep well and shelters all along the inner walls. The outer wall is shaped in the form of a star. Some of these enclosures might be stables for animals as they have small water ponds or wells. At the end of each axial, there are smaller compartments at the edge which are smaller and narrower. They have arched ceilings with floor elevations which might be toilets, as they're isolated from the rest of the shelters in the same line. There is a huge step well in the center which provides water for the soldiers. There are two smaller structures which have stairs leading down, and there is another room with wall openings. These might be hideout bunkers to attack the enemies when they enter the fort. There are two levels of stairs on either side which leads to an upper level. One of the stairs are completely damaged while the other one seems better preserved and can be accessed. The star shape of the fort is more evident once seen from the higher level. The vaulted roofs over the shelters below can be seen from the above level. There are also gaps within the walls which can be seen for centuries. The tips of the stars have dome enclosures with a small enclosure and a narrow slit for view. Soldiers stood there for watching any foreign movement. The walls are extremely damaged on one side of the fort. The side which is damaged steps also have damaged shelters. It is interesting to find another dome shelter extension which is also a rooftop, indicating one inner part of the fort that is either caved in or got damaged in vegetation. There is no conservation efforts made by the ASI. One can see people getting on the structures which might ruin the fragile masonry. Most of the walls were damaged with graffiti. There are no security guards or information boards or any restoration methods carried out. On the contrary, there is another similar fort in Uttar Pradesh which is conserved very well by ASI in complete contrast to the Manjarabad Fort. Jhansi Fort, perched atop Bangira Hill in Uttar Pradesh, India, is a significant historical monument renowned for its architectural grandeur and its pivotal role in India's first war of independence in 1857. Constructed in 1613 by Raja Bir Singh Judio, a Bundela Rajput chief and ruler of Orcha, the fort was initially established to defend against Mughal invasions. Over time, it became a strategic military stronghold and later the residence of Rani Lakshmi Bai, the Queen of Jhansi, who valiantly resisted British forces during the 1857 uprising. The fort spans 15 acres and showcases typical North Indian fort architecture characterized by massive stone walls which are built with granite. These walls are designed to withstand attacks. There are also 10 gates or called darwazas where each gate such as the Khandero gate and Dhatia darwaza served strategic and ceremonial purposes. There is also a temple within the fort dedicated to Lord Shiva and Lord Ganesha, reflecting the religious inclinations of its occupants. A beautifully built fort, ornately decorated and intricately carved structures constructed by Raja Gangadhar Rao for his brother Raghunath Rao, a great lover of art and architecture. The Archaeological Survey of India has undertaken several initiatives to preserve and restore the Jhansi fort. Many structural repairs are carried out, such as addressing damaged walls and restoring historical structures to maintain the fort's integrity. They also engage traditional craftsmen who are the descendants of the original fort builders, such as the Vadras, have been involved in restoration project, ensuring the use of traditional construction techniques. Many visitor amenities were invoked, including improved pathways, informative signage, and the introduction of light and sound shows to enrich the visitor experience. There is also a museum in the fort is arranged to understand and learn about the fort's importance and cultural significance. We hope that Manjarabad Fort and Shettihalli Rosary Church would also be preserved and they're given the importance they deserve. Thank you for watching till the end. If you like the content, press the like button, comment your thoughts and share with your near and dear. Subscribe for more such content and press the bell icon for more content into your feed. See you soon.